Yeah, Coach, I guess I'd just ask you for your thoughts and reaction.
Well, as I said to this team, there were a lot of different things inside of the game, but under a minute, it's 82-79. And they hit a tough three, a challenge three to put it up. And we self-inflicted a few things, with our missed free throws, with our not guarding the ball as well. We didn't get the guard rebounds that we need to get, in a game like this. But we competed heavily. I mean, we followed the game plan. We got better this week. We were bringing that to life, and that 15-2 run hurt us, obviously, in the second half. But it never felt like we wouldn't come back in it either. And but the margin for error with our lack of size, and sometimes our lack of shooting is always going to be tough, and it gets lower when you're playing against a team like that. And one reason they're so good is they make you pay for your mistakes. Not every team makes you pay for their mistakes. They make you pay if you make a mistake. But there were many times that we were doing exactly what we had prepared for, could do, wanted to do. And with all that being said, I mean, it's right there. It's 82-79. And they hit a tough shot. That shot caroms off. Maybe we're going the other way, and it's another story. But that's what I'm disappointed for these guys, because the week of work that they put in, and it wasn't just the week of work for this game, it's the week of work to get ready for next week as well. But I really wanted them to have a big win like this. And we just didn't get it. We just fell a little bit short. But appreciate the fans, the students, the way they came. I wanted it for these students too. Again, the year that everybody's had, and it hit close to home in so many areas. But with the Georgia students being so limited, being able to come in, I was really appreciative of Josh Brooks doing this, and President Moorhead supporting it, and the work John Bateman did, and appreciate all of that. It was a tremendous atmosphere. But we just have to continue to work on controlling the things that we can control. We shoot free throws every day. We shot them for probably 20 minutes this morning, and there's no question we can make free throws. We have made free throws, but in a game like this, you got to have every one of them that you can get, and we just didn't get them.
The challenge three that you referenced that was so important came from Ellis off the bench. Did that just kind of show the depth that makes them so strong?
Yeah, I think so. They have tremendous depth. I think that's the real separator in this league this year. When you look at the upper echelon of teams, is that there's very little drop off out when you go to the bench. I mean, Keon Ellis would be starting for quite a few teams in this league. And again, I've said this so many times, Nate has done a fantastic job of taking the players that he inherited, making them better, and recruiting around it. And he's got, I said this to our staff, he's got Herb Jones and nobody else does. That's what it would be almost like. Can you imagine Nick Claxton, being in his senior year, improving the way he did the first year, controlling the game. Herb Jones can control the game defensively, and he can control it with his driving. It's a very unique player. And, we had that with Nick a couple of years ago. So I know that the impact of having a guy like that just changes the game in so many ways, and then their ability to shoot the ball, and they really don't bring in anybody off the bench that can't shoot the ball. And that you have to honor those guys. And with the exception of a couple of them, a couple of the bigger kids, but you have to honor those guys and be where they're at. And if you can't control the dribble, it puts you in a real disadvantage.
All right, up next, let's have Chip Towers and then Mark Weiser.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it there, Tom. You look at biggest difference in the game, I guess, is they go 8 for 10 from three in the second half and 2 for 12 in the first half. And I remember you talking pregame about, hey, those threes better be contested this time. And they were, and y'all were doing a good job defensively. What changed? Just them making them?
I think that, a little bit not controlling the dribble as good as we needed to. I would say that. That was the thing. We zoned a little bit. We lost them a couple of times. They got a three in the corner, which we were okay with, because when you're in a 1-3-1 zone, I mean, that's the one shot that is going to be the hardest to contest, but you can live with that. But there were some other things. They were just getting a little bit too much penetration. But for the most part, we stayed with our man. We challenged the shots. But when the ball's coming down the the pike there, and you got to overhelp, and they can kick it out. That they're a unique team because he really doesn't, with the exception of one or two guys, and it's very rare that it's one or two guys in that team, can't make threes consistent. I know that feeling. We had that at Indiana like that. I mean, it's a really, really great feeling when the whole court is spaced and there's really not a lot the defense can do about it when the ball's moving like that. And they've got that right now. But that's why controlling the dribble is so important.
Tom, Xavier mentioned that, obviously there's no moral victories, but as you mentioned, you guys competed heavily, is I guess the words you used. I mean, is that a tough balance to take some encouraging signs from competing heavily?
No. I mean, it's always hard when you know your team is a better shooting team than what they're showing, especially at the foul line, right? Like that's tough. Guarding the ball, we needed to get that 15-2 run stop or run stopped a little quicker. That type of stuff. But no, we practiced. We had a great week of practice. I mean, there wasn't a doubt in my mind we were locked in, ready to go in this game, and not a doubt in my mind. But the practices weren't just to prepare for this game. When you've got a week like that, you've got to get ready. For even though you know who you're going to play, you've got to make sure that you're adding and getting better, and that you see some sustainable growth in the stuff that you're working on, so that you can take it with you next week. So I'm disappointed in the loss, or no doubt about that, but I'm not discouraged in our effort or our work. And like I said, I mean, it's both teams turned it over. Both teams made mistakes. They shot it better in the second half than we did, but it's 79-82 under a minute to go.
Thanks.
All righty, let's have Jed May and then Tori Heck.
Coach, you mentioned the three-point shooting a minute ago. They've got, every guy on the court, it seems like, that can shoot threes. Just how tough of a matchup is it for a team like yours when, you've got to guard all those guys on the perimeter, but you also, don't have, I guess, that huge rim protector, to destroy things up inside as well?
That makes a difference. But again, it really comes down to the one-on-one battle of guarding the ball, the way they play, right? Because they're trying to isolate you, drive, get to the rim, create mismatches, and get you to overhelp so they can kick it out. And they play a lot of one-on-one basketball to try to get you in that rotation. And so you've got to make sure that you're controlling the dribble the best that you can and not get into the rotation, because they pass it to the next guy and they knock it down. But certainly it's different when you have better rim protection. We missed a lot of close shots today. I think I'm going to be when I see how many layups we missed, that'll probably hit. I mean, we had plays at the rim that we just didn't get finished. And I wish we'd had more. A game like this, you've got to have more than 7 offensive rebounds. But there's no question. I mean, they've got tremendous size, they've got skill, they've got depth, and that creates issues.
Coach, this game started out scoreless for the first 2.5 minutes. Do you feel like that really set the tone for the defensive intensity for the rest of the night?
Say that first part again.
The game started, it was scoreless for the first couple minutes there. Do you feel like that kind of
at the beginning of the game?
Right at the beginning, yes, sir.
Yeah, we were aggressive. I don't ever worry about that. I mean, you just want to come out and be established, establish the defense, establish that you're going to drive the ball, and not come out and settle for threes. In the first 4 minutes of probably their last 7 games, they were averaging, I think, 5 threes, inside of before the first TV timeout, and with a high of 7. So I mean, they're going to come out and shoot the ball. So you've got to come out and you've got to establish you're going to guard the ball. And so you don't have to get into an overhelp situation. And I thought we did that.
All right, last question. Let's go with Ryan Curley.
Hey, Coach, the Alabama controlled the boards in the second half. I think the rebounding margin was 1 at halftime, and it was closer to 12 or 13 in the second half. How much do you think that had to do with their play in the second half?
We didn't get enough guard rebounds. I mean, that's what that is. You've got to have the guards come in and block out better with your bigs, and the guards get the rebounds. And that's the number I look at, is the difference on who plays the 1, 2, and 3 for them versus who plays the 1, 2, and 3 for us. And that was the difference. So they should rebound like that. They're big. I mean, they're athletic. I mean, they're really big. And But we've got to be able to get in there and get more offensive boards, but we certainly have got to be able to have our guards come in and do a better job of defensive rebounding.
All right, thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.